principles of intervention in reading and writing. So first of all, let us discuss the principles of intervention in reading. Then we will go for writing as well. So as you can see, I have written 8 principles. I have written 8. I have written 8 P's. That means 8 principles. Uh, we will discuss this one by one in brief, but before going in brief, let us discuss what is that? Reader background knowledge. This is a first principle in reading. So where we need to understand, the background of the student, and then second one is build a strong vocabulary base. See, if the child want to be a good reader, there should be a strong vocabulary, a list of vocabulary with him when he see a notebook or a textbook or newspaper to read. He must understand that. Then teach for comprehension. This is also very important, where we need to teach as a teacher. We need to apply a technique for a meaningful cognitive interaction. That is your comprehension, where you must allow the child to comprehend meaningfully. That will, make the child construct some sort of meaningful text in his mind or when he reads. Then fourth one is work on increasing reading rate. That means you need to increase the reading rate. For example, you need to focus on students' independency, how far the child is, reading fluent, whether the child has a speed or not. That we will discuss. Then teach reading strategies. You need to also, teach them, or you must also tell them, this is your strategy, you need to work on it. This is how you can, build your vocabularies, build your reading skills, build your comprehension skills. Then sixth one is encourage a reader. That means a learner to transform the strategies into the skills. Now here we will also discuss what is skills. Okay, so skill is very, very important to understand what exactly you mean. What is the dictionary meaning? Now let us explain here, then we'll not get time to explain that. See, there is a small difference between the strategies and the skills. Now, if I want to say the no, let us discuss for strategy. Now, let us say, what is strategy? See, it is defined as a conscious action. Strategy, that means an action that student take to achieve the desired activity or a goal. That means it's an conscious. That means the child should be very conscious. Okay, so this is called as a conscious action. Okay, where your child, that means the student, take to achieve the desired goals which you have design. So student achieve that goal, okay, which you have decided for the class. So in one word or two word, if you want to say what is strategy, it's nothing but a conscious action of the child which he takes to achieve the goal. Okay, now what is action? Action is a strategy here. Now action is a strategy that becomes automatic. Skill is an automatic. So always, whenever you heard about a skill, you must say it's an automatic action. It's a strategy. It's a strategy that becomes an automatic. Now see, this strategy becomes automatic. Then no need to even sometime what happens, even child when walk or when run, he tries to do that particular skills, or even closing his eyes he can do. So that becomes an automatic. Skill is automatic, strategy is an conscious action which you need to remember. That's what here in the principle you can see, transform strategy into the skills. That means it should be from conscious action to automatic action. So that you need to understand. Then seventh one is build assessment and evaluation into your intervention. You can say either intervention or even a teaching. Okay, so build assessment and evaluation. That means whatever you make child read, that has to be assessed, that has to be evaluated, that has to be analyzed with both qualitative and quantitative way, and then presented to the student as a feedback that this is where you stand in the teaching reading skills, or teaching, I mean to say, a reading intervention skills. And the eighth one is your, it's kind of improvement, continuous improvement as a learner, okay, or as a student. So it should be a continuous, continuous, I have missed you here. It's a continuous improvement as a reader. Okay, so you know he has to be continuing whatever he read throughout his life. So you need to prepare them as a teacher, you need to prepare them. Okay, so this is just a gist of the principle. Let us discuss one by one. I'm not going to go in detail, but as I'm going to focus on main highlights, main points of each principles. Okay, so let us move to the first principle and try to understand what is that. So why I'm telling you, because see, already you have learned the strategies, now you have some knowledge, so that you can apply when you study the strategies. So let us see that one by one and understand. And this principle you need to follow when you teach or when you intervene the students. Okay, so now let us understand the reader background knowledge. Now, reader background knowledge, as the name indicate itself, that you need
Hey,
to,
Tarun.
that means you need to exploit the reader. You need to exploit, that means you need to exploit or explore the learner, or you need to explore the learner about their background. So you need to exploit the reader background knowledge. And see, a reader here, a reader background knowledge can influence the reading comprehension. So that's why the background check, the background check is very important. Okay, so the background check which influence the reading comprehensions. So why you're checking background information, so that you can find out those indicators which influence the learners to improve his reading comprehension or reading skills. So background check, you need to do, and you need to find out the indicators, whether he is aware of phonics, whether he is have a vocabulary. So this kind of things you need to understand in the background check. So, and you also see if it is related to severe learning disability, then you can also check the medical report in some concern if requires. If not, I'm sorry, it's a report. So medical report you can check to understand the level of the child, because this is all background information, like how he his what do you say, biopsychology works actually. It's like, how the body and bodily language of the child to understand. So with the medical report, you can understand. That is called, it's a branch of psychology which is called biopsychology, where you understand the behavior based on the body of the child. So that also can be, assessed in the background check or information. Then apart from this, what you can do, anybody, what you can check in the background? Um, and you can go for the general information, that is, from the parent. General information like, um, his habits of reading or time manage, how much he reads in the classroom or uh, in the home, or how far he is good with his peer groups. So these all you can take it from the teacher, as well as from the peer group, maybe the student, maybe the friends or students in the classroom, or parents. So this can be, checked. So no need to write in detail, but here's main highlights, main points you can write, and and close it up. So it's because, as the name indicates itself, the background knowledge of the students. Okay. Now let us move to the second
Sir,
one.
I have a doubt.
Yeah.
Generally we ask, like silent reading and loud reading. From
Yes.
which age we can ask teachers or parents that whether your child is able to read in the noisy place or not?
See again. See, silent reader. When it becomes, when the child is quite mature, when he, able to manipulate the things, um, that can be done when the child has, um, I mean to say, appropriate understanding of all the vocabularies, and he has some sense of reading. But most of this time, if you check with the normal kids, I think 7 to 8 years or 9 years, they start silent, they're doing silent reading because they are quite independent after reading the long books, or after reading the, a lot of vocabularies, expression. But compare when it comes with the learning disability or intellectual disability, even if the child read at the 12 years, 14 years, it will be very difficult. So it is recommended that, check initially whether the child is independent in some area of reading or not. See, just now I explained you, right, strategy and the skill. The skills can be automatic with the silent readers, whereas if it goes for the special educators, sometimes it is a little difficult, where you give a lot of strategy, verbal prompts, a lot of other things you apply. So I think you can take it double. When the child reaches 14 years, he will develop the silent reading, he may become a silent reader, whereas compared to normal, it is 8 years.
Sir, if child is having stammering, then like I mean, any special intervention we can give to the child for reading?
Yeah, stammering you can give. Stammering is like, um, where the child is having a problem with the vocal sometime, or the speech conditions. So I will tell you
Sometimes
that, yeah.
psychological also, sir.
Yeah, psychological. See, that's what I'm telling. Psychology is linked in almost all the fields. So, like just now we talked about biopsychology, which is related to the biology. So, so it is linked with the all the fields. I will tell you how to do the stammering kind
Okay,
of thing,
okay.
because this is most of the time speech people, they practice it,
Yeah, yeah.
the stammering kind of things. Now let us move to the second principle, which is called your, I think, building a strong vocabulary, right? So building a strong vocabulary. Now here, second, yeah. Now here, see, it is easy. It is easier for the student to read an academic text with some special terminology rather than a general vocabulary sometime. Because see, for example, if you expose such vocabularies, the child will be more he will be more independent, because you're exposing this as a special characters. So what you have to do is, most of the time, once the child is able to cope up these special characters, the general vocabularies is indulged. That means what this principle tells is building a strong vocabulary. So initially, after indulging the spatial characters or spatial vocabularies, we should move to the general vocabularies, because that's how we build the strong vocabularies in children with learning disabilities or some other disabilities. And one more thing, what you have to remember here is the sight words. He also, the author also tried to focus on sight word. So sight word is also very important. Sight word is nothing but your spatial characters, where you try to prepare the list of the vocabularies. So, but in the sight word, we always do like, three-letter words. First, we focus on three-letter words, then we move on the four-letter words. So the building, if you see, what do you say, DOSH vocabularies. In that you can see a mixed kind of thing, but still from there you can just pull out two letters, three letters, four letters, five-letter words, and you can build the vocabulary of the a student. So see, these special characters and the general vocabularies is very important, because this general vocabulary helps the child to generalize the words when he see in the newspapers or the textbook or in the library or somewhere in the written areas, shopping mall, wherever. So that's why he says that special characters, the general vocabulary which can be generalized, when he sees in a different sectors. So that a small thing you can write, in building the strong vocabularies. And you can give some example of sight words, touch, um, vocabularies, which will help you to fetch your marks in that. And third principle is about teach for comprehension, I think. Yes, teach for comprehension. Now, why a teach for comprehension? See, as I said, it's an excellent technique. Teach for comprehension. There should be some a meaningful cognitive interaction with the text. Now, what this principle says, that there should be a meaningful interaction, meaningful cognitive interaction, you can say. That means the child is trying to, use cognitive skills with the text and making the process of reading easily. So meaningful cognitive interaction with text. So where the child is, see, if you have presented with number of words, number of text, the child has to use those things meaningfully, where there is some concept which helps the student himself to assist and construct the meaning. Because when child use the cognitive interaction with the text, the child will construct, child will try to construct the ideas, the child will try to construct the concept from those particular text. That's why teaching for comprehension is very important. Here the principle, you should not say, okay, my job is done, vocabulary, I have finished vocabulary. No, your target should be to the comprehension level, so that you can increase the child's ability, um, so that you can make the child or make the reader independent. That's our main goal. So it is always important, teach for comprehension, not for the just vocabulary or some kind of thing. So that's what you need to follow this principle. Now, no need to write a lot of things in this. Okay, now let us move to the fourth principle. And comprehension, as we have discussed already in the strategy, what are the requirements? Sorry, it's also gone, no problem. So what are the strategies required? What are the things you can focus? So that are things are there which you can also indulge into it. Okay, now let us understand the fourth principle, if I'm not wrong. Increasing the reading rate. Increasing the reading rate. That means the child need to increase his speed. That means, see, the focus. Now there should be a focus. There should be a focus on learner. Okay, focus on learner independence. Learner independence. That means the teacher need to focus when the child is reading independently with fluency or without fluency, or there is no speed or there is some speed. So increasing the reading rate here we talk about speed. So focus should be on the fluency of the child, or fluency when while reading, and the speed is very important. Make sure that a child is coping up with the you know the vocabularies or comprehension in the right direction, or he's going in the right way. For example, now here, if let us say you have presented 10 vocabularies and you have a set of time to read 2 minutes. So out of 2 minutes, the child finish 8. So that's not bad, and that's not too bad. That means still the child is achieving 80% in the vocabulary. So similarly, if you give a paragraph or passage or para, so 4 line, how many minutes he's taking in that way. But here, it's not just reading nonsense word or reading without meaning. See here, fluency has to be there in the words. So in that way, you need to focus. Here in the principles, you're not going to write the strategies. You're going to just make the person who's going to read your paper understand them why this is important, increasing the reading rate. So it is important because the learners need to be independent. What you check in this: fluency of the child, speed of the child. You can just elaborate in your own terminology as well. Now let us move to the fifth one. The fifth one is um, reading strategies. Teach or intervene. So teach reading strategies. Now here, as we have already discussed strategies, see, always you remember in this strategies, this strategies is not a single event. Okay, it's not a single event, but it's a sequence of event that learner, that student actively use. Strategy is not just single use. I mean to say, it's not a single event, it's not a single step. Okay, strategy is nothing but a creative sequencing of event. There is a sequence of event. This is one event, this is another event. That means there is some stages. So it has a sequence of event where student use this. Okay, student use this to achieve that particular goal which you have designed. So you have to remember this. Okay, so strategy is not a single event. It has to be used in the sequence where student apply it to achieve that particular task or the goal which you have decided. Okay, so in this, to achieve the desired results, now whatever the goal you have selected, so to achieve the desired result, student need to learn how to use the range of reading strategies that match with his needs, with the purpose of reading. So here, very important, the student need to match with his own purpose. Okay, purpose. So always, even the strategies need to be selected based on the child's need individually. Sometime in the group you present the similar strategies, so that might be in a different condition, but here make sure that the strategies you select, it matches the purpose of reading and the student purpose of reading. If you give some other strategies which is not matching to that particular objective, that means it's time waste. Your it's a waste of time, I mean to say, because in the classroom you have a limited time, or in the resource room you have a limited 1 hour where you cannot focus all the students. So make sure that the strategy is not a single, it is a sequentially arranged so that the student achieves, and the strategies must match with the student's need and the purpose of reading. So these 2 points you need to remember, which will help you. Okay, then sixth one,
Sir, is
I
there
think.
any benchmark for the normal readers?
Well, there are a lot of benchmarks, like, it depends on the school, which kind of benchmark. Like, for example,
At
uh,
least one standard benchmark where we can check with the child's reading ability, so that that parameter, whatever the discrepancy is there, we can fill it through our interventions or
see,
strategies.
yeah, well, compared to normal and special education, even for the special education, if you have heard about IBT, this is the International Benchmark Test, where they have a reading, writing, comprehensions, even for the special needs. Okay, so that's what I'm telling. It depends upon the benchmark designed by the school or the policy where they check, where they try to check. So there they have some cutoff, like around 40% or 60% cutoff, where they have to achieve in the year. So there are some benchmark like this, but not you know what to say. See, here in
Standard
special,
one,
yeah,
you
yeah,
will
the
say.
special education, um, we can fix it up the benchmarks. We
Sir,
can
I
see,
mean to say, did you check with that benchmark with your students' current level or
we
something?
have
Just wanted to know, because
we
when
have
we
checked
further
with
with our practical sessions, then definitely there would be some challenges in regard to this. For example, teacher's vocabulary is not good. Maybe because of that also child might not had a very good vocabulary or reading ability.
correct. So no, we have checked with the, see, we had our own rubrics to, check the students' application level. That means a reading level. In the rubrics, we have clearly designed, like, if the child is able to achieve 40%, and then he falls in reading level 3 or reading level 4. If the child achieves 70 to 80%, the child falls on the reading level 1. So we have a package of reading levels where, that particular, as you said, like, some cutoffs, but we say rubrics where, child falls. So we have that reading levels. I try to show you that. So it's a reading level. We check with that, and based on the curriculum, like, and anyways, in the curriculum you will have some cutoff, right? If child achieves 30% or 40%, that means he gets C grade or D grade. So in that way, we can check. It's in a special educator, depends upon the child need, we can design the cutoff, but there is no such standard here where, we can say, because it's not in the curriculum. But few schools do that, some international schools. Then
Yeah,
let us
thank
finish
you.
this. Yeah. Principle number 6, I think. Yeah. So encourage the readers. So here you need to encourage the reader to transform the strategies to skills. Okay, now as I said, we have already discussed about difference between strategies and skill. So it's very important to you know it's very important for the teachers to teach the readers or the students to transform the strategy. That means here this strategy will be taught for 1 hour in the classroom. So how this strategy will be practiced, and it will become an automatic. That's a simple cycle which you need to understand. So that strategy need to be practiced by the student, and then um, it should be like an automatic where the child practice himself wherever he is, wherever the location is, whether it is home or classroom or somewhere else. And here, during the transformation, make sure the child understand the concepts very well, because without understanding the strategies, without understanding the concept, the child may not able to move towards the skill. See, in simpler way, you can remember that, the skills is nothing but a practical. Skill is not theory, skill is practicals, where the child will do himself, the child will do some experiment with his constructive knowledge, what he has learned, so that things will be involved in, um, um, transforming the strategies and the skill. And make sure that a motivation level you try to boost. So motivation boosting is also a part of this encouraging the reading, where you try to give lot of reinforcement, you know so that the children can move or transform that particular strategies which you have taught in the classroom to his life, or it is transforming into the automatic way of learning. So that's very important. Then number seventh one is, and here also, as I said, yeah, practical is very important. Number seventh or number eighth? Yeah, number seventh,
Seventh,
evaluation.
seventh,
Yeah,
sir.
evaluation. So building um, Assessment.
Assessment and evaluation.
Yeah, assessment and evaluation. Now, this is very important because assessing, see, always you need to, I think it will get disconnect. So anyways, you connect once again if it disconnect after 2 minutes. So assessing the growth and the development is very important. So both has to reach at the threshold level because you know when you assess, when you see the progress, that means the growth and development you have already learned in your psychology, where assessing the growth and development in reading skills via both, you can say via both formal or informal way. It's very important. Formal and informal. So assessing the the reading skills or to check the growth and development. Now, growth and development of reading is very important to understand because either you can understand with the formal way or informal way. It is up to you how you evaluate the progress of the students in the reading skills. So either you can do in the formal way, like where you have some criteria, norms, where the child will achieve, will be achieving as per the design of those particular formal tests. If not in the formal way, like it might be a teacher-made test, which predicts the growth and development of the child. And this is very important. And this is important for further training because that should be very clear. Building an assessment and evaluation into your training is very important, into your intervention is very important. Now, two things which you need to remember in this is one is your quantitative, and another one is your qualitative. Okay, now here information in quantitative information from reading comprehension test as well as the data which he has learned. That means about some percentage or number of the reading which he has achieved in the evaluation or in the comprehension. That's very, very important. Okay, just hold on, guys. So qualitative is like where you evaluate the child based on the what is the responses of reading strategies, where you don't show any numbers, but yes, you just give a book to the child and you see generally, like you give some journal to the student for the reading and you see the responses. So a reading interest surveys, it's kind of a general response which um, we see or we observe from the child. Most of the time in qualitative, we check the accent, we check the reading abilities or his bodily language as well, his interest in the reading or survey. So that kind of things we do in the qualitative analysis, where we don't indulge with the percentage or the numbers. Then eighth principle. Principle number 8 is your continuous improvement. Yeah. So continuous improvement. Now here, now in this continuous principle number 8, in this continuous improvement, as a reader, you can say a reader. Okay, now here, see, just because you are a good reader, it doesn't mean that you are prepared to be a good, teacher or a good professional or good, learner. It's not important like that. Okay, it's not like that, because it requires a continuous uh, implementation of learned strategy, implementation of whatever strategies you have learned, that has to be implemented regularly. Then only you can see a continuous improvement. Same strategies, whatever the teacher has taught, you need to be implemented. I mean to say that. And the thing is, to become a continuous improvement, here the author name is, I will give you the author name as well when I give you the notes. Absolved and Field. They say that they have given in 1997. So what they say is, um, to improve, or to apply this principle, continuous improvement principle. First of all, the strategies learned has to be implemented regularly, and the guidance is very important. Teacher guidance or parent guidance or other stakeholder guidance is very important, and that should be again a continuous. So continuous teacher or parent guidance in the reading areas will improve the child no reading skills, though that he tells. So it should be a guidance, and the learn strategy need to be implemented, where 2 points they have given very clearly. So I think that's it about principles of reading skills.